Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Bonker, Executive Director of Communication for All, a charitable organization with the mission to ensure all non-speakers with autism have access to communication and education. I am excited and honored to be speaking to a group of bold leaders who demonstrate how individuals with autism can be included in the workforce. Today, I hope to inspire you to be even bolder. You are hearing the computer speak my words because I type to communicate. The same dysfunction of my motor system that prevents me from tying my shoes or buttoning a shirt without assistance prevents me from writing with a pen or moving my mouth to speak to you. Please don't think that I haven't tried to button my shirt or speak. I've had thousands of hours of occupational and speech therapy, but there is a problem with my neuromotor system. Some of you may be asking yourself, what does a recent college graduate from America have to contribute to a meeting of global business leaders? My hope is that by telling you my story and sharing the challenges and enormous potential of non-speakers with autism, you will feel empowered to embrace the entire autism spectrum. Just a few clarifications before we get started. When I say non-speaking, I include people who have minimal speech and those who may repeat words and phrases. And when I say typer, I include those who point to letters on a letterboard, as well as those who press them on a tablet or a keyboard. Now let's take a deeper dive into the world of non-speaking autism, and hopefully, gain a deeper understanding of what it feels like for us. I did speak. I was born perfectly healthy. I met all my developmental milestones and said words like ball and dog. Then at 15 months, all of my words were suddenly taken from me, and I started to scream and bang my head on the floor. My parents took me to Yale Medical School and the doctors gave them the news, and little hope for my future. I started an intensive biomedical and educational program, but I still had no way of expressing even my most basic needs. At times, my frustration boiled over into self-injury. Yes, I started to hit myself. Not a popular subject, but I want to dispel the myth that equates self-injury with intellectual disability. I struck myself because I was a thinking and feeling person locked in a silent cage. For more than a decade, I have tried to change the way the world sees non-speaking autism. First, writing poetry for my book in 2011, and more recently writing song lyrics for an album. I believe music opens the heart so the head will listen. In this song, I try to capture what it felt like before I could communicate.
Step inside my silent cage. Can't you see I'm on a stage? The world says I can't think. It's pushed me to the brink. They say I'm lost and dumb. The stairs say I'm less than scum. No voice, no choice, no thoughts, no brain. They think that I'm insane. Set me free. Please set me free. Free from anger and frustration. Free from boredom's cruel tick. Free from lowered expectations. Free from futures I can't pick. Free from dejection and rejection. Free from fits of smashing rage. Free from pity and despair. Free from my silent
My life in a silent cage finally ended when I was 5 years old. My mother discovered a courageous Indian woman living in America named Soma Mukhopadhyay who taught her own non-speaking son to communicate by pointing to letters. Soma taught me as well, and my parents fought for my right to attend my neighborhood school. In 2022, I graduated from the honors program at Rollins College and gave the valedictorian commencement address. For me, I have a dream. Yes, just like Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream. Communication, for all. There are 31 million non-speakers with autism in the world who are locked in a silent cage. My life will be dedicated to relieving them from suffering in silence, and to giving them voices to choose their own way. That speech went viral with 4 billion media impressions, propelling our mission onto a global stage. Elizabeth Vossler is a professor and speech pathologist who founded the International Association for Spelling as Communication. Here she explains the evolution of our understanding of non-speaking autism.
Traditionally looking at it, we had a cognitive approach first, that there was an intellectual disability in people with autism. Then it's sort of switched into, well, there's a behavioral component to it, and there's avoidance or lack of motivation or lack of caring to do well, so we have to appeal at a behavioral level. But it's not an issue of I don't understand, it's not an issue of I don't want to, it's an issue of I can't make my body do it.
Keep it going, regardless, you're working hard.
So that's why a lot of these guys are not given credit for being as smart as they are.
I know you're working hard. I know you're working hard. I know you're working. Just F-R-I-E-N and D. Because my body is not my friend.
With communication and education, non-speakers can be on a path to live happy and productive lives with meaningful work. But before we go there, I have something personal I would like to share with you today. I am not special. Of course, my parents think I'm special, but my ability to type is not special. Non-speakers are capable, and to back up my claim, I would like to introduce you to some others who type to communicate. Meet Dan. He learned to type when he was 12 years old, and recently the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art made a video about Dan's breakthrough.
Once I learned to spell at age 12, learning and new discoveries poured in. Before then, because my autism doesn't allow me to speak, except by computer voice synthesizer, I couldn't even tell my parents that I'd made the most important discovery of my life here at the Met.
What was Dan desperate to tell his parents when he first learned to type?
Get me an education.
Dan graduated from Harvard University Extension School with honors and now attends their graduate program in playwriting. Hari Srinivasan had no way to show what he was capable of until he was taught to type in his early teens. Hari graduated at the top of his class from the University of California at Berkeley and is now getting his PhD in neuroscience at Vanderbilt University. The stories of 8 more non-speakers who spell and type to communicate are featured in a new film called Spellers. In March, the film won Best Documentary at the Phoenix, Arizona Film Festival. We hosted the Indian premiere of Spellers on Sunday, and if you missed it, please go to spellersthemovie.com for details. Here is the trailer.
Yeah. What if they've been wrong about every single one of them? What if they're all walking around without the ability to speak, but brilliant?
I am one of the lucky few non-speaking autistics who have been taught to type. That one critical intervention unlocked my mind from its silent cage, enabling me to communicate and to be educated. All of the non-speakers in that film want to go to college and have overcome incredible educational barriers. I have asked Grace Moscola, director of Harvard University's Accessible Education Office and a Communication for All board member, to say a few words about those challenges.
Hello, and thank you for including me in this talk. For many autistic people, college is never even an option that they or their families have considered. Non-speaking students must prove themselves over and over again in ways that their non-disabled peers have never had to. Even disability services offices like mine are not always familiar with or supportive of accommodations that make course participation possible. There are attitudes and biases to overcome, questioning the authenticity of independent work, writing papers, doing research, or answering test questions. However, throughout my career, the feedback from faculty has been overwhelmingly positive, centered around the creativity and critical thinking that these students express in their work. Elizabeth's unique perspective on the world and her drive to create more inclusive communication pathways for non-speakers will open doors to higher education just like she had. Communication, just like opportunity, should be for all.
In the United States, colleges including Harvard, UCLA, Rollins, Columbia, Vanderbilt, and UC Berkeley are leading the way for the inclusion of non-speakers who type. Here you see a news story about two typers, David Teplitz and Hari Srinivasan, graduating from Berkeley with honors. Another game-changing film, Understanding Autism, premiered 2 weeks ago at the Newport Beach Film Festival. Award-winning Hollywood producer Scott Steindorf, who is autistic, interviewed more than 100 experts including children and adults across the spectrum, leading researchers and physicians. As shown in this short clip, the film explores the incredible diversity of gifts and challenges experienced by autistic individuals and their families.
After I was diagnosed, I don't think I really understood what having autism meant. It was hard. I had adults that would help me. I knew I was different and I knew that I needed them, but I didn't know why.
The neurologist diagnosed Misha in about 20 minutes and then said that it's a lifelong condition. We don't know what the limits are. We don't know what the causes are. We have no cures. Have a nice day.
The system is wrong and it makes me very angry.
He had blurted out in class that he wanted to kill himself. It scared me. It scared me so much. My son's a sweet, loving, kind, gentle being. I don't want you to ever feel like that. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Okay.
In your commencement address, you bring up Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, about gratitude, about life.
About sharing your last crust of bread. That's what it means to be human.
Wow. Can I give you a hug? You are such a beautiful soul.
This is about them tapping into their own inspiration, using art to make sense of their world.
You can hear music and then you can just play it?
And I can just play it, yes.
How did you come to a place of peace with me as your parent being autistic? Oh, you haven't?
My message to any girl, any boy struggling with autism is that it is your superpower. Embrace it.
Learning from all these autistic people on this journey has made me realize that I feel a part of something.
Now that we understand autism, let's talk about work. A job is much more than just a paycheck for non-speakers. A job gives us something we're often denied in school: purpose, relationships, and respect. And a paycheck is also nice. As you know, applying for jobs, particularly for people with autism, can be like dying by 1,000 cuts. We can do the job, but often we are not given the chance because we can't look you in the eye, or in my case, talk without the use of assistive technology. Yet study after study show how neurodiverse workgroups come up with better, more creative solutions for companies. The companies in this room recognize the innovative value in Think Different. One of my favorite books about a company using its voice for good is No Greatness Without Goodness by Randy Lewis. Randy's son, Austin, has autism. In 2007, Randy was the head of logistics at Walgreens, an early adopter in employing people with differences. He proposed employing disabled workers for at least 1/3 of the positions in a new warehouse. They would do the same work at the same standards for the same pay. The experiment proved to be a success on all measures. The result they didn't expect was that all employees were happier in that warehouse. Everyone was invested in everyone's success. Randy recommends deploying a technology called ATP, which I endorse 100%. You may be wondering what ATP stands for. Ask the person. Ask the person what they need to be successful. Heck, we have been figuring it out our whole lives. Like Randy, you are pioneers in the business community, showing the world neurodiversity is a corporate strength. And it takes strength to try something new. To look beyond differences and focus on results. My first high school principal couldn't do that. Despite my getting all A's, it was reported in the local newspaper that he called me the retard in meetings with his staff. My hero Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." I believe we are all here at this conference as a powerful evolution of the civil rights and disability rights movements. With our work, we stand on the shoulders of giants like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Helen Keller, and Judy Heumann. Judy, my cherished friend and mentor, passed away unexpectedly in March. Judy was known as the mother of disability rights for her 5 decades of leadership. Her mobilization of disabled activists led to the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act and the adoption of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Judy taught me that disability rights are human rights. Communication, education, and work are fundamental development goals. Together, we can and will remove barriers so every light can shine. The disability rights movement helped make the world accessible for the blind with Braille and the deaf with sign language. Now is the time to embrace typing for non-speakers. Communication for All is working with partners to build a world where every non-speaker with autism has a voice. Our new initiative, C4A Academy, will allow us to work with partners around the world. The Academy is a program of internet-based instructional videos to teach typing to non-speakers anywhere, free of charge. In every case, it would be preferable to have a live expert providing the coaching and training, but we know that is not financially and logistically possible today. Non-speakers need to be taught to type because they have dyspraxia, or difficulty with planned motor movements. C4A Academy teaches families how to coach their non-speaking loved one to overcome their dyspraxia and type first on stencils, then letterboards and keyboards. Here is a clip from one of our early instructional videos where fellow non-speaker Dan Bergman and I narrate a session on 3 stencils. You will start with 3 stencils where the alphabet is broken up so 8 or 9 letters are on each stencil. That way, the letters can be bigger and there are fewer letters to scan with your eyes to find the right one. Here I am typing the word spelling.
Up and get it. S and. Bottom shelf in the middle, downstairs. Look, look, look. Down, down, down.
You hear how my CP is coaching me to get me to scan the board with my eyes and then get my hand to follow to the correct letter.
Notice that the CP never actually says the letter until Elizabeth has indicated it. She assumes Elizabeth knows the letter but has to find it.
P and. Bottom left in the corner, downstairs. E and. S E E and. Double letter coming up, top shelf in the middle, up, up, up. L. Get it again. Look, look. S P E L and L. Bottom right corner, downstairs, all the way, come on over, down, 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 get it, get it, get it. I and. Bottom left corner, downstairs, all the way, down in the corner. And. Bottom shelf, downstairs in the middle, down and get it. Spelling.
Let's look at that again.
To use the 3 stencils, you and your CP need to know what word you are typing so they can show you the correct stencil for the next letter.
This isn't yet about saying whatever you want. That's coming. First, you have to practice selecting letters.
Your CP will be a bit clumsy in the beginning with juggling the 3 stencils. Be patient with them.
Remember, every letter you choose correctly is a victory for both of you.
You see how I am holding the pencil in a particular way. You should imitate that. I stick the pencil point straight through each letter. It is important to sit up straight with your feet on the floor. My CP is sitting perpendicular to me and holds the stencil in front of my pointing hand. The most important thing for a CP to remember is to keep the stencil stable and still, so the target letters don't move. With these videos, we are able to work with local partners such as the All-Inclusive Foundation to help non-speakers in India learn to type. And what a more beautiful and equitable world it will be when non-speakers can fully participate in it. With communication, we can chat with our friends, be educated in mainstream schools, and find meaningful work. Please join me and more than 60 non-speakers as we celebrate our ability to communicate.
When I was a kid, this is what the doctors did. They told my mom, there's no hope for this one, but they didn't know. No, they didn't know. When I went to school, the teachers did the same thing too. I'm not lying, they said this one ain't even trying, but they didn't know what they didn't know. And what they didn't know was the truth about me. Sometimes I fear they don't understand that I hear and I know. The way they look through me, it just makes me want to scream. I am in here. I am in here. This is my voice. This is my life. This is my choice. This is my right. I am in here. Now that I'm grown, I realize I'm not alone. Millions like me who should be shining brightly, but they don't know how they can show how much they know and the truth they can't see. You don't believe that we go to the extreme to be heard and to be seen. If you just walk in our shoes, I know that you'd scream the news. We are in here. We are in here. This is our voice. This is our life. This is our choice. This is our right. We are in here. We are in here. This is our voice. This is our life. This is our choice. This is our right. We are in here. We are in here. We are in here.
As more and more non-speakers with autism learn to type, they will be knocking on your doors because we need and want meaningful work just like everyone else. Accessibility is key. Without access to low-cost technology and the training to use it, I would not be able to speak with you today. Last November, I gave a presentation to UBS, the Swiss bank, and was asked what jobs would be a good match for a typer. My answer was that many of us are decent writers because we select each word with great care. Hopefully, even in the age of AI chatbots, there will still be a few jobs for writers. I would like to applaud your leadership in employing people with autism and ask you to take the next step in the evolution of your programs to include non-speakers who type to communicate. Our movement for communication equality is at a tipping point. There are now several thousand typers worldwide, including dozens of college graduates, but we are still at the very beginning of unlocking millions more non-speakers from their silent cage. So, can we brainstorm together to see how the strengths of each individual can fill the needs of your companies? Using the 5 non-speakers that are pictured, here are some ideas to get us started. David Teplitz graduated last year from UC Berkeley with honors, majoring in political science with a minor in disability studies. Can non-speakers with strengths like David's find a fit in your government relations or human resources departments? As I mentioned earlier, Hari Srinivasan also graduated from UC Berkeley and is getting his PhD in neuroscience at Vanderbilt University. Would there be a fit for non-speakers like Hari in your AI research departments? Woody Brown graduated with honors from UCLA, and he received the university's highest award for creative writing. He is now in a graduate program at Columbia University. Can non-speakers with talents like Woody's find a fit in your product management or advertising departments? After graduating with honors, Dan Bergman is now doing graduate work in screenplay writing at Harvard. Might there be an interesting opportunity for non-speakers like Dan to tell your product stories in your marketing? I majored in social innovation with a minor in English and have had a lot of experience writing speeches. Could there be an opportunity for non-speakers like me in your public affairs department? This short list, of course, is just a start to get our creative juices flowing. I bet if we could assemble a team of experienced autism at work executives and a group of typing non-speakers, we could brainstorm a long list of exciting opportunities for those of us who type to communicate. It has been an honor to speak with you today about how you continue to do the great work you are doing and include more diverse talent in your companies. I would like to close with a short excerpt from the Spellers movie, and leave you with the same request that I made of my fellow Rollins graduates. I am one of the lucky few non-speaking autistics who have been taught to type. That one critical intervention unlocked my mind from its silent cage, enabling me to communicate and to be educated, like my hero Helen Keller. The freedom to choose our own way is our fundamental human right, and it is a right worth defending, not just for us, but for every human being. God gave you a voice. Use it. And no, the irony of a non-speaking autistic encouraging you to use your voice is not lost on me. Because if you can see the worth in me, then you can see the worth in everyone you meet. My fellow classmates, I leave you today with a quote from Alan Turing, who broke the Nazi encryption code to help win World War II. Sometimes, it is the people no one imagines anything of, who do the things no one can imagine. Be those people. Be the light. Fiat Lux. Thank you.